Hey there, good morning everybody. I know it's been a minute since I've vlogged. I think it's been since last week. I didn't realize it had been that long. I know I've been making a lot of movie content, but I know it's been so long because it feels weird to hold this camera and not have it just hooked up in the corner over here. So a friend of mine called me yesterday after watching the video I posted yesterday about the 3 horror recommendations, and he asked me a pretty interesting question that I've never been asked before, so I thought I would address that today. The question he asked me, because he saw, I always put B-roll in there where I like shoot a thing of the film that I'm talking about. What he was talking about is, why is it still in a bag? He was like, you haven't even unwrapped it. How have you watched it? Why is that in a bag? That doesn't make any sense. So I thought I would take this video to sort of explain why a bunch of my stuff are in bags and why some of them aren't. It's actually kind of interesting, and I've never actually talked about that before. So it's actually not that complicated. I've just never talked about this before, and I thought it was kind of interesting because in the Blu-ray collecting scene, there are people that keep stuff in bags and there are people that don't. And the people that don't tend to make fun of the people that do, and vice versa. It is what it is. In the Blu-ray collecting scene, this is actually quite a divisive topic because a lot of people are like, that doesn't make any sense. What are you doing? Why take them out of a bag and then put them back into a bag? Because that just doesn't make any sense. Yes, I agree. It does not make any sense. Now, let me explain what I don't keep in a bag. Anything that is just a case, like this. This is gonna be fine by itself. Unless something happens to the outer plastic that gets ripped or whatever, this is gonna be fine. It doesn't need to be protected even a little bit. So I guess the next question is, why do I keep all of my DVDs in these bags if they're the same thing as this? Because this is just a plastic thing just like this is, right? Now the reason I do this is because all of the Blu-rays that I have in bags like this are all DVD bags. They're like the size for DVDs. The reason I did that is because I could not find any Blu-ray bags that actually allowed me to do thicker packaging like this with the slipcover. And this is actually one of the thicker ones that I actually can fit in a bag. I have a bunch of bags that fit DVDs laying around. So all of my DVDs, they all fit. You can see these are actually specifically made for DVDs. They have resealable things on them, so you just open them up, you take the disc out, when you're done you put it back, you reseal this back up, no big deal. All of the Blu-rays that are in a bag are all slip cases or steel books. So this is a steel book, this is like the tin packaging if you don't know what I'm talking about. This is like a thicker Blu-ray packaging, and then this is just like a straight up slip cover. So anything that is a slip cover, anything that is a steel book, go into bags. Now the reason for this is because I didn't used to do this. If it's a steelbook, the reason it goes into a bag is because I don't want the steelbook to get scratched. Because I do have a couple before I started doing this that got pretty deep scratches on them just by moving them around on the shelf and everything like that. So that's the reason steelbooks go into bags. The reason anything with a slip cover goes into a bag is because you can see this is actually something I bought a little bit used, but what ends up happening over time, because these are cardboard, they end up just sort of getting ruined. And that's because, especially because you can see the way that my Blu-ray case, every time I get a new Blu-ray, everything has to shift down. And it's one of the downfalls to the case that I have. I move everything a lot. And so whenever I move everything, these cardboard bottoms especially get really messed up and get matted down and stuff like that. And I can't stand it because I'm a little OCD. So that is the reason anything that is not in a bag, it's because it doesn't need it. It's just plastic on the bottom, it'll protect itself, not a big deal. If it's got a cardboard slip, it goes into a bag strictly to protect the slip. And that is only because I'm neurotic. If it's in a slip, it's a lot easier to get out like this. And I can just leave this in the bag, and then when I'm done, it just slides right back in there. Seal it back up. That's the only reason anything goes into a bag. Now, if you don't put your stuff in a bag, I totally understand. This is just my personal preference because I'm neurotic. I'm probably just gonna cut the vlog there because I could literally talk about this stuff for another 20 minutes, but I don't really want to do that. So I hope that answers anybody's question that was wondering. I don't have a whole bunch of stuff on my shelf that's never been opened. All of this stuff is in resealable bags that can go back into them when they are finished just to protect the outer sleeve, and that is the answer to that. Thank you guys for watching this if you like this, and I will see you tomorrow with another episode of Vlogtober. Mike the Finder out. See ya.